Hey guys, it's Emma. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing my February wrap-up. I usually do this together with my TBR video so that it's a longer video because I usually don't read that many books. But this month, and well, last month, February, I actually read 7 books. So we're going to talk about the stats really quick for the month. So in February, I read 7 books. I read 6 romance books, 1 fantasy, and then I read 2,906 pages. And my average rating for all the books I read was 3.75. In the middle, not bad, but not amazing. So let's get into the actual books I read. So the first book I read, I actually started in January and ended up finishing it in February, and that book was Ghosted. This book took me so long to get through. Basically, this book is about a single mom who has to, obviously work without having the father around. The father is an actor as a superhero, and his daughter, which is with the single mother, her favorite superhero is him. The mom always has to deal with that, and you go back in the past and you see their relationship when they were building something and when they were together, and then you get the present where they're not together and working things out. And I just feel like she gave him a chance too quick. It was really weird because with the thickness of this book, I feel like she could have given much more time to have him actually work back into their lives. I gave this book 2.5 stars. I didn't really connect to the characters. When thinking about this book, I think about how long it took me to read it, but also how fast the storyline moved. I didn't love it, but I can see why other people do like this. Honestly, the only person I know that loves this book is Sarah Caroli, which is a YouTuber that reads books, and she gave this book 5 stars. And honestly, I don't see how this book could get 5 stars. I honestly did not like it. It was really cringy at times. So yeah, I gave this book 2.5 stars. Wasn't my favorite. Next book I read, I actually read on my phone. It is Done and Dusted. I give this book 3.5 stars. It was a really cute country romance book. It was a bit cringy at times. Sometimes. It wasn't bad. It actually was just a normal, cute romance book. It is brother's best friend. I didn't see anything bad with the book. I would recommend for people to read it, but it's definitely not my top pick for a book to read. But it was definitely a really cute country romance book. So nothing much to say on that. Just a cute little romance read. Next book I read, I actually read in a vlog that my last video, I'm pretty sure. It is If He Had Been With Me. The most recent book that came out, If Only I Had Told Her, is actually the second book, and it's in the guy's point of view and some other point of views. But this is only Autumn's point of view. Basically, you get what happens right at the start of the book in the first chapter. You know what's going to happen at the end, kind of, but you go more into detail at the end of the book. And for the whole book, you're basically just getting the main characters living their life, going from being childhood best friends to kind of drifting apart, not really being strangers because their mothers are best friends, and just their lives separately. And yeah, this book honestly broke my heart. I gave this book 4.5 stars. I just love books that make me really feel, and these characters felt so real. They actually felt like they were real characters living out in the world. The ending of this book, I was shocked, couldn't believe it. You know what's happening at the beginning of the book, and honestly throughout the book I forgot it was gonna happen, kind of, and then once we were getting there I was like, okay, this is gonna happen. But once you get into detail of what's gonna happen and then what happens after that incident happens, it just really makes you feel something. So yeah, I really did like this book, and I would recommend people to read it. I'm excited to read the next one. Hopefully I'll get to it this month, but I'm not really sure. But I definitely do want to read it soon. So yeah, that was this book. Then in that same video, I read Divine Rivals. I also gave this book 4.5 stars. If you want to hear more thoughts on these books in detail, go watch that video. But this was the only fantasy book I read in this month, and this is I'm counting this as the second fantasy book I've read because the other ones was the Cruel Prince trilogy, and then Fourth Wing was my first, and then this was my second. So this book honestly opened my eyes to fantasy books. Fourth Wing was good, but this book was actually so good. In a fantasy book, when there's romance, the stakes are just so much higher, and everything being said, everything being done means so much more because it's more important. Like in romance books, when the guys are like, oh, I would do anything for you. Like, would you? Would you kill someone for me? Would a regular guy kill someone for me? No. But in fantasy books, they can. Like, they really can, because it's fantasy and it just means so much more. It's so much more important and you feel it more, and that's why I like this book. The romance in this book was good. At times I wasn't even interested in the romance. I was interested in the actual plot. Everything that happens at the end is crazy. I honestly don't know how to feel about the end because it wasn't the ending I was expecting, and I feel like it could have been more, but also I don't know what it could have been. So it's like I'm not mad about it, but I'm not like ecstatic about it. What I do know is that I definitely need to read the next book because I need to know what happens after this. So definitely will be reading the next book soon. I just don't know when, but it's definitely on my to-do list. So that was this book. And then the rest of the books I read for this month, I did read on my phone. I read A False Start. This is the last book in the Gold Rush Ranch series, which is Elsie Silver's first country romance series, and I started it last year and I was really liking it, so I decided to complete it this year, and I ended up giving this book 4.25 stars. It wasn't my favorite. My favorite was definitely the one before, which now I'm forgetting which one it was. But I love that book. Every time I think about that book, I think about giving it 5 stars because I felt so much for that book. I can't remember what it's called. It might have been a photo finish, but I'm not really sure. The book before False Start was amazing, so I had high expectations going into this book because it's about that guy's little sister and hit that guy's best friend. So it's about them two. She's back at the Gold Rush Ranch. Her brother was taking care of her. You get something from a year ago when she runs into the best friend, her brother's best friend. They have an interaction and then they just never see each other again until the next day. And she's like, oh my god, I can't believe this guy's here, whatever. And then a year later, she sees him again and she's like, I never thought I'd see this guy again. And then they just have to work around each other, and you're just basically following all of that. You're kind of following them, like sneaking around, obviously, because it's brother's best friend. Oh wow, I've read 2 brother's best friends romances this month. The guy in this book was really cute. His name was Griffin. He was sounding like my type. Kind of. He was very serious, but he would like joke around sometimes. He was like a tough guy turned to such a softie. And it was really cute. I'm pretty sure he was writing her like letters towards the end of the book. It was so cute. Something about this book is it does focus on some serious topics, like family-wise. Yeah, I think I would check the trigger warnings before reading this book. It didn't really affect me, but it might affect other people. But when I was kind of reading it, I was like, these are some serious topics. That's kind of why I enjoyed it more than the first books, because it was much more serious. Instead of like, you know, the first books were kind of like cringy and lighthearted, whatever, fun reads. But this was more serious and deep, and I really liked that. There is an age gap, but it wasn't too weird to me because Nadia, the girl in the book, she is very mature for her age and she has gone through so much. And that's said throughout the book. Like Griffin says it throughout the book that he's like, she's gone through a lot, so she feels older, she's more mature. Which makes sense completely, and I didn't really find the age gap too weird. That was that book. Then I finally read Wildfire by Hannah Grace. I have been waiting to read this book. I read, what was the book? Oh, Icebreaker, that's what it was. I read that book, I don't know if it was last year in 2023 or the year before. No, I think it was last year, probably around November. Or not, maybe it was the year before. I don't know, it doesn't matter, but I finally read this book. I gave this book 4 stars. So this book is about a hockey player and a girl. They go to the same college, but it takes place in a summer camp because they both wanted like summer jobs. So they have to work together at a summer camp after a situation happened before they went. And I honestly thought it was gonna be like a miscommunication trope the whole time, but it got solved right away. So I was like, thank goodness. Very realistic. Everything about this book was very realistic, like every single scene. And that's what I liked, because usually in books, like they hold out saying something for like, so you could keep reading. And that's why I really enjoy this book, because they didn't do that. I really enjoy this book, to be honest. 4 stars might be a little bit of like, I mean, it is a still good rating, but like I feel like it could be higher. It was a really good book. I think I definitely liked it more than Icebreaker. Even though I rated Icebreaker higher, I think I liked Wildfire more because it was much more deeper with their personal stories. You got a lot of what happens in Russ's life, a lot of what happens in Aurora's life, it's just so much deeper the way they connected. They low-key trauma bonded, not gonna lie, but it was cute. They got cute moments. And since they're in a summer camp, you would think like, oh, they're gonna be with kids, like you're gonna get a lot of scenes with kids. But not really, to be honest. There were like some cute moments with the kids, but the whole book wasn't about that. Like, it was mostly about like their romance and all of that. There are so many things in this book that you can see how much they like each other. Like, Aurora was very observant with everything that Russ did. Russ's love language is 100% words of affirmation. Anytime he got the chance to tell Aurora something, he would. You could tell that's just how he would want to show his love to her. And the quotes in the book were so relatable and so funny. I was underlining, highlighting the whole time. The characters in the book were so fun. I love Xander in that book. I hope she comes out with a book for him, which I doubt it because he only went to the summer camp. He goes to like a completely different college, but towards the end of the book he was like, oh, I should go to your guys' college, like my brother goes there, something like that. And I was like, hold on, if we get a book on this guy, I think I'll be so happy. Probably an unpopular opinion, but I absolutely loved him. I really did like this book. I would recommend people to read it. I'm excited for the next book because I'm pretty sure it's an anticipated one with the guy that everyone wants to read about, which is Henry. I'm excited for that one because I'm enjoying these series of books from Hannah Grace. And then the last book I read was Betting on You. I've actually also been waiting to read this book by Lynn Painter, but I gave it 3 stars, which might be really nice, to be honest, because I didn't really enjoy this book. Very unrealistic to me. The characters weren't really likable, if I'm being honest. I feel like I didn't really like any of the characters. Like the way the girl main character acted towards her best friend, the way the mom acted with the main character. It was cute at times. The main boy character, Charlie, he did have me smiling at times, but I feel like it wasn't the best book Lynn Painter has come out with, because then again, she did write better than the movies, and I definitely liked that book more than I liked Betting on You. Like I said, this book was very unrealistic. The things the characters would say, the things the characters would do. Charlie, even though there were some things he said that was cute sometimes, he was kind of a red flag. But also, something I didn't like about this book is we barely got Charlie's point of view. And I love when both the boy and the girl's point of views are in the book. When I found out Charlie's point of view was in the book, I was happy because of course we're gonna get the male's point of view. But we got like 5 chapters with his point of view, and this book was so long, to be honest, for like no reason. It did not have to be that long. And so with the amount of chapters that Charlie got with his point of view, and may I add, the chapters were like 2 pages long, it was just unnecessary to have his point of view at all, because we would get like snippets of his thoughts and then it was just back to the main girl character's point of view. So I didn't enjoy this book, but I guess I can see why other people would. I just felt like it was kind of immature, and they were around my age too. That's why some of the things they did were like very unrealistic and just didn't make sense, because I am their age and I was just like, what is happening right now? Yeah, those are my thoughts on that book. And those are all the books I read in February. These are all the physical books I read. So 4 of the books I read were on my phone. And honestly, I don't know why. I feel like I used to read quicker with physical books, but I guess now I'm reading quicker with books on my phone. But we'll see how March goes. It's actually March 2nd and I haven't started a book, so I'm gonna get on that. But I am glad I finally had a good reading month. If you guys don't know, I've been struggling with reading like ever since November, I think, or probably September. To be honest, I've been reading like 3 books, 2 books, like it wasn't a lot. So I'm happy I read 7 books this month. I was in the mood always. Every time I finished a book, I wanted to read the next one. So I'm very happy with the amount of books I read. I'm happy with the books I read. No 5 stars, but we got some 4.5, some 4 stars. We'll see how March goes. Hopefully it's a good reading month. And my March TBR video is coming out soon. I'm excited for this one because I'm actually doing like a themed March TBR. So hopefully it works out for the upcoming months too. But the March TBR is going to be a fun video, so stay tuned for that. But that is the end of my February wrap up. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn on your post notifications so you know when I post my next video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.